What's the third section?
Radical self-expression.
Uh-huh.
And that's related to overcoming the fears and fear of judgment and insecurity, and recognizing that there is a profound activism into expressing yourself authentically. And we will be pushing ourselves in terms of dressing up for the party that night, but only pushing to a degree that feels good. And if I'm encouraging everyone to bring as much pink clothing and start, even if it doesn't fit you, bring stuff so we can kind of all try each other's stuff on and have a dress up party. But it's about being authentic, not necessarily being flamboyant.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to push anyone into a place that you're not comfortable. I might question what about this is making you uncomfortable, and then we can dig in and go, oh, this is because my dad yelled things at Frasier on TV when Frasier wore a pink shirt, and I've always been afraid of being mocked or something like that. So we're gonna dial into like what happens when we become inner guided instead of outer reactive.
And to me, part of that is also like reframing beauty, because I think that's a major obstacle, especially for women. I could say, it's like, I want to prop up a cultural ideal so that I'm attractive, and that's the way to get connection. Our culture props that up again and again and again. Be more beautiful, and yet I think all of us agree, like, what's truly beautiful is when we see somebody really owning themselves, like truly, and really free in their being, and just able to show up as they are, knowing from the inside out they're beautiful. Like joy is the best beauty treatment, and freedom is the best beauty treatment. And so radical authenticity to me is also expanding what beauty is, and it requires other people to be there. It's not something we can do by ourselves in the mirror. It requires other people to really honestly look us in the eye that we believe and say, what you're doing is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love witnessing you.
And that is where community is required to create a safe space where you trust when people say, I like the real you.
Yeah.
If this is authentically you, then turn the volume up.
Totally.
Not like that's not quite the current style, or I wouldn't wear that with your body. Like, no, does this feel good? Then yes. And if you can, I feel that so hard, and I think Burning Man. When you see people like rocking clothes that is not the way the mannequin would wear it, but you're like, they are sexy as fuck. Why? Because they're just them. It's true. It's real. And I think that finding that courage is very difficult in a world where we have so much pressure to fit in, so much pressure to not be teased.
You're right. It's
so you're just living in fear of mockery, fear of being embarrassed, fear of. That was my youth. One of the purposes of this workshop and my work in the world is sharing the things that have helped me, because I was that person so much. I still struggle with it, but I have a lot more comfort. And something you said reminded me of one of my favorite books is The Lion Tracker's Guide to Life. And the master lion tracker that the author is writing about, he describes him as someone who is the exact same person in every setting. He goes to a dinner party, he's working, he's with kids. He's him. He's not playing the role he thinks he needs to play in these situations. He is just him. And you paid me the most beautiful compliment and said, like, wow, you're you with your parents. You're the same person wherever you go. And I was like, that's from work. That's the goal of this process, is to go, I like this person, the real person.
Yeah.
And if I can own that, other people will too.
Yeah.
And anybody that doesn't is working through their filters of their shit. Because it is impossible for a healthy person to see a authentic being and not celebrate it.
It's true. We can feel it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's primal.
I think it was Ram Dass that said, like, to see an authentic human being and have judgment for them is to, like, look at a cloud and be like, that's the wrong shape.
Well, usually if we do feel judgment, it's reflective of envy, probably. You know, it's like it's a way to protect ourselves from the risk of doing it ourselves.
Yeah, and that's we'll talk about that over the weekend too, because that is inevitably you will get backlash.
Yeah,
and there's a bunch of reasons for that. Envy is one. Another one I think is that it's so confrontational for someone who subconsciously is following the rules, this system of rules of what you're supposed to do, and if you have sacrificed freedoms and creativity and throughout your entire life to follow the rules, and then you see someone who is not following the rules, you have two choices. One is you go, wow, I need to reevaluate my entire worldview. Or you can say, fuck that guy. And it's way easier to judge. It's way easier. So I get it.
And then we think that the judgment is more real. I think that's also a cultural paradigm. It's like if, you know, that being nice is more superficial than what's actually underneath it, which is they are really, like, messed up in a certain way, and giving more focus to judgment as being, like, somehow more true. And I think that's also, like, a cultural worldview that gets challenged by embodying these three aspects of the workshop that we're going to be working with. It's really choosing joy over judgment. It's choosing freedom over judgment. It's choosing connection.
And being aware that the deck is stacked against you. Your brain is gonna, with no discipline, your brain goes to negativity, concern, worry, and fear. Because those are survival mechanisms. You're trying to deep down. You're trying to protect yourself from being excluded from the tribe.
Totally.
You're trying to protect yourself from the dangerous thing. So you really have to go, wait, no. This is the activist, courageous thing is to choose those thoughts, choose that courage. And I mean, this is my daily practice because it requires a daily practice. Mm-hmm. The world will push you into judgment and fear unless you are actively working against it.
I'm really looking forward to the weekend workshop.
Me too! I'm even more excited now.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
To be together in community and seeing what arises.
And I think fun is the right word. Like, this is, I mean, obviously, if you know me, I like to have fun. I'm silly. I like to joke. And I believe, in fact, my experience has been that my most profound spiritual breakthroughs have happened when laughter is a part of it.
Yeah.
That's going to be in the brochure.